Hello and welcome to a short tutorial on how to connect with the Illustrator Sarula Bow. So when you open up this file, I just want to point out I do not have a default workspace. I have closed down the workspace and only opened up from window layers, which is over here on my left, and swatches and brushes. So you will notice that the download for this assignment was a folder that included this PSD file, but it also included some custom brushes and some custom swatches. So before we get started, let's load those into this file. When you load them in and then later close your work, those assets will still be connected with your file. So let's first go to swatches over here, and we just go to the hamburger menu over here. We click on this and go to import swatches. So now we're going to go to, I've got other things here, but the import you're going to bring into swatches is the .ase, Sarula swatches.ase. So you click on that to open, and then you will see if you pull this down, they load it at the bottom of the stack. You're more than welcome to grab that, holding down your mouse, and push it all the way up to the very, very top. Now it looks like it nested into the RGB, so you've got to pull that up and take it above that. And if you open that up, you'll see it's got swatches that are coming from the specific illustration that is here as an example to connect you with this Illustrator style. Now, the other thing before we get started is I do have two basic brushes that reflect the line style that she uses here. So she sticks with a very consistent weight black rule, and then she makes some additional texture marks, but it's a gray, and I believe she may set that layer to multiply so that it does take on maybe some of the attributes of the color beneath it. That's just my take. So to get these brushes in here, and the brushes again are just to get you up and running a little bit quicker. You don't have to worry about fussing with a brush setting. So we're going to go up here to the hamburger menu up here, and we're going to go down to import brushes, click on that, and then we're going to go back to the folder that you downloaded, and the brushes are, the extension for custom brushes in Photoshop is always .abr. So click on those, open, and there in this folder are, it's a double nested folder, but let's go up here so we can see. You've got the basic brush and then the gray brush. So before I click this layer off, I do want to point out that when you open your layer, you will not have this demo folder. That's in this demo. That's in this video, obviously, because I want to show you a few things. So you will have a reference image. You will have a texture and a white background. So it's really a really fun illustration style. Her work graces this week's New Yorker cover. The New Yorker magazine has been a lifelong investor in original art and illustrations. So go to the library and you can see in the magazine staff's New Yorker magazines. And so her work is on the cover. I just want to point out that there's some stylistic things here that we're really going to ask you to maintain when you explore this style. Note the great big feet. There's a lot stylistically, you'll see a lot of this is done in her work. And then certain aspects like the hands are usually brought in large. There's an extreme foreshortening, and I do have a link in this assignment so that you can get more familiar with that term if you're not familiar with it, but it's an exaggerated position of the camera lens. And then by virtue of that, the head size tends to be kind of small. The color palette is very fun. It's bright tones and some vivid pastels. And so that is why this swatch folder is in this document, just to give you a quick reference for a color palette that she has used. You can certainly do your own, but we're looking to have you connect with this style. Sometimes by imitating another artist, you learn to take some of these things and incorporate them in your own work and develop your own style. So let's turn that off. And I'm going to show you what I have done very quickly using these brushes. So it's based on this image, but let's turn this. Whoops! I want to turn. Let's see. I turned down. Let me see. Make sure what I've got. Oh, I see. I want to go to this image reference. Okay, so you'll notice that my work if I turn this on, I've really exaggerated that. Let me just to showcase that, I'm going to put this up here. You can see that I really exaggerated some of these areas. And what I actually did, just for the purposes of this demo, is I actually turn this off. I actually took areas of this image and I copied them and distorted them just to help me capture the actual authentic shape of the shoe, but I wanted it bigger. So I'm going to show this in this one area. The technique is absolutely the same in any of these areas, but I basically just kind of grab this area. Now you can also try this, depending on the angle. You can get into the stack of selection tools and go to Object Selection, and you can hold down your mouse and let's see if it grabs just this selection. Did a pretty good job. So with that, I'm going to do Command or Control J. What that did is that copied that particular element and moved it to its own layer. And so now that I'm in that layer with just the shoe, I could do Command or Control T, and I could enlarge it. I could then go to Edit, Transform. I could distort and maybe distort a little bit. I can also go to, let's get that there. I can also do this little trick, which I use quite often, which is in this layer, I just go to Image. I'm sorry, I'm going to go, oh, I don't know why that's locked now. Unlock that image. I'm going to go to Image, or let's see, yeah, Image. Oh, I'm sorry, Edit, Transform, and Warp. And then make note of this. I go to Custom and I do a 3x3 grid. So with that grid, then I can kind of take and sort of twist this thing, like as the distortion ends and it gets closer to the width of her actual leg here, I can kind of move this around. And this can be very casual because I'm basically just using this as an underlay for my work when I use my pen tool. So I do want to point out that's the same thing I did, I believe, with her head. I think I just used that same object selection, held this down, and it's thinking it did a pretty good job. And so now with that selected, I'm going to do, remember, Command or on a PC, Control J, like Joker. And so now that exists in its own image, its own layer, Command or Control T. And now I'm going to take this down in size. And then what I can do, the lower layer, is I can either erase it or I can just use my clone tool. And I can click over here. I can hold down Option and click to sample this area. And it will just sample while I click away. It will sample that area and just give me some bricks in the background. I'm not using those bricks, but it was helpful for me to isolate how I was distorting this image. I do want to note that on the, let's just turn these things off. That on this, I think that it's also, it's a style that is very playful. So it seemed to me like this would be a fun opportunity to maybe make a little wide radial element. The one area of her style that I did point out is that she does work with a closed loop. So in other words, she does create very clear spaces for coloring. So like in this instance, if I were to select, oops, I want to be up with my demo, sorry. I want to be in my vector artwork. I mean, my line art. So I click here, and then if I hold down my shift and click here, and click there, I could go to solid color, and I could pick one of these things here, and I could go through to apply areas. The closed loop style makes it very, very easy to apply these things. Now, the last thing I want to point out is, and this is mentioned in the video that I included in this assignment. She does mention texturing in the background. So I do want to point out that there is, at the bottom of this file, it's called gritty texture. Now, if I wake this up and I were to select my elements that I'm designing and change the layer state to multiply, you get a little bit more of a vibe going there. It adds texture, which I think can be really cool. You can obviously change the strength of that gritty texture. You could have it be a little bit less. and you actually do, this layer will be at the very bottom. So that is something to explore as well, because I think that gives it a very specific vibe. So we look forward to seeing your work. And as always, you're free to replace the image, but we do want to see you handle this style using a person, because this is really she's primarily very focused on the human shape, but then obviously applied with her own aesthetics and style. So we look forward to seeing your work.